Oh my gosh, we're gonna have some juicy drama today. Yes. VTubers! You either love or you hate them. These are the people who don the guise of your favorite anime waifu or husbandu to encourage you to tier 3 sub to their Twitch channel. Not that I would know anything about that. I'm just a streamer, content creator person who's far too ugly in real life to warrant showing my face properly. But anyway, this isn't about me. This is about some juicy gossip that's been going on within the content creation space. There is a VTuber agency, which, if you don't know what that is, it is basically the equivalent of a gamer house, only utilizing VTubers to their extent. For a bit of context, some of these agencies basically require you to, when you get hired by them, you basically play the role they give you. You don't have much of a quote-unquote agency of your own character, which is fine. You generally get signed up for that. But little do you know, VTubers and corpos are just like any other human and business out there, pervy to the quandaries and failings of any other human and corpo. And it came to light recently that Dokibird, or Celine as she went by in her corpo world, has had a slight falling out with Nijisanji. And by slight, I mean, oh my god, the entire internet lost their proverbial minds with the nonsense going on. TLDRing the whole thing, there's a lot of accusations being levied at Nijisanji, ranging from in-house bullying, withholding funds, forcing Dokibird Celine to pay for things out of their own pocket, to a point where Celine, Dokibird, has gone on record in saying that she has spent $200,000 of her own money on projects that Nijisanji should have been paying for. Not to mention then the complete out-of-pocket and very lack of self-awareness that Nijisanji have had in their replies to this. And this whole thing is stunk of a corporation that has no interest in their talent and only wants to save their own face, because anytime they've ever been accused of any of this, they hide under the rock with their head in the sand going, no, don't be mean to us, we're a poor, small corpo, there's no way. And rather than taking responsibility and actually addressing the issues, every time they've responded, it has come down to them basically saying, but our shareholders, but money. Oh, what, you've got attention for us now? Hey, have a merch plug. So to say that this whole thing has been very awkward and weird would be an understatement. So what we're going to be watching now is a take from Celine and Doki from their perspective and how they've dealt with this, and seeing the entirety of the internet rallying around her like the David and Goliath situation that it's been, and truly immersing ourselves in the world of juicy drama. I want to preface this though by saying I am not really that interested in drama. I merely like looking into things that are prevalent to our situation and my kind of world. So if this is something that interests you, let me know. I'm going to try and do more of this format in the future, and let's get into this and see what this is all about. Right, so this is the VTuber drama of the hour, from what I've been told. I don't particularly really care for drama most of the time. However, for the sake of my own posterity and for the sake of amusing myself at other people's idiocy, I think it'd be interesting to take a look at this drama, because apparently there's been some big brand VTuber organization drama going on. Look, I might be a VTuber. I don't particularly keep up with the ins and outs. I'm not interested in corporate VTubing BS because it's so fickle, it's so shallow. But it would be interesting to see what all the hullabaloo is about. Ah yes, the thumbnail really does say it all, doesn't it? Although I do believe that you could replace the word Nijisanji and Nijisanji. I don't fucking know. You could replace the Nijisanji with just VTubers, and it would be the same thing. It would be the same thing. Never in my life have I ever seen a community so small with so much drama, and that's saying something, seeing as I've been part of the furry fandom for God knows how long. All right, let's see what this is all about. Tell me about it.
So I've been covering VTuber-related news for several years now, including many Nijisanji-related controversies, but none of these stories hold up to the explosive details of today's story. So for over a month, concerned fans have been asking Nijisanji management a very simple question.
One little thing I'm going to say. I know why people do this. It's easy clicks, and anytime you have like your corporate VTuber like organization kind of thing, these kind of companies always attract some kind of ire because of how public-facing they are and how, like, professional they're supposed to be. So when you have the biggest target, they're also the easiest to kind of criticize and judge. Like, you would never really get this with you'd never get a news article like this over a content creator that's not, like, exploding or huge and elsewhere. I do find that is more of an indication of how shallow these dramas usually are. But for the sake of like reporting and for the sake of actually seeing what's happening and why everyone's talking about it, I'm happy to check this out for the time being.
Question, and that is, where is Selene?
I do like their model
Katsuki?
though.
Well, we finally got an answer. They have officially terminated their contract with Selene. No graduation stream. All of her accounts have been...
So this entire drama came around because somebody got let go from a corpo. And that was worth the entire internet losing their perspective minds, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 videos worth of viewership grubbing.
Wiped of content.
Okay, I like context. I like context. Let's see what to say.
Over. She has moved on. She is terminated from this company.
Let's get context.
Now,
Context matters. Let's not jump to conclusions.
We're going to start off by reading this document released by Nijisanji
Oh
Management.
god, reading?
It's 3 pages of yapping where they're going to do their best to try to throw Selene under the bus and show that they have no respect or appreciation.
Okay, I'm gonna ask, is this literally just a big corpo who let somebody go for no particular reason? And when the person they let go had a bit of a fit about it, they just were like, yeah, well, we never liked you. I feel like, again, this is why I keep saying this kind of stuff is so superficial.
For years of hard work with the company, and they have no respect.
Okay, well, let's see what they got to say. That was my prediction.
Well-being, and then we're going to compare all of that to statements she has made on an account that is now confirmed to be her personal account, where she shares more details about this situation and also shares the reason for her hospitalization back in December. That was the result of Selene attempting to take her own life, and part of the reason she cites for that is bullying from within and a toxic work environment that she was subjected to for months.
Okay, we actually looked at something kind of similar, and that is terrible. It is 100% terrible. But the thing is, and I feel like there's an unspoken thing here that doesn't get enough attention. It's that, yes, corpos are great in some respects, but there are many negative connotations that come with being part of a corpo. First of all, depending on the people in charge of them, it is the same. But when you work for a corporation or a talent agency or anything that has a hierarchy that is not just like freelance VTubing, streaming, or whatever, you have to deal with the connotations. That is a much more professional environment, and you are under the volition of whoever's in charge. And just because it's part of the streaming sphere, just because it's part of the... It's like a common misconception that just because something is part of the streaming sphere, and just because something is part of a content creation sphere, doesn't mean that they're going to be integral or have any integrity. It's why a lot of people end up joining these corpos without having the filter or the grit to deal with it, or at least deal with it when it's bad. Because corpos can be just as bad as any regular real-world job. And I think this is very indicative of that.
So obviously a lot of very serious stuff to talk about, but let's begin with the document itself.
Like, it doesn't matter whether it's a corpo or a real job. At no point should anyone feel like they should take their own lives because of how bad the corporation is run. Whether it's online or real-world jobs.
Due to multiple breaches of contract and misleading statements on social media platforms. For transparency, we have provided a detailed explanation of the circumstances and reasons that have unfortunately led us to this decision below. Now, they cite the actual rule here. It's talking about things that might violate the rights of Nijisanji and their affiliates. It might cause damage to their reputation and things like that.
So, in reality, that's not like the idea of what they're doing isn't bad. It's protection of their brand, it's protection of their IP. Like, you don't want somebody, like, if somebody was going off the hinges and spouting heretical, like, rhetoric and inane amounts of, like, racist shit or whatever, you know, a lot of this is in place to kind of stop people from sabotaging the image of the corporation they're part of. It's typical corp speak. It's protecting the interests of the whole in case one person decides to go off the rails. And I guess that's just what they're using to put this down, but I don't know, maybe the handling of it might be bad.
Typical legal jargon, you can read it for yourself. But down here, they have the actual violations.
Anti-xenophobia and racism are near enough the same thing.
Let's read through these. So, despite our
same
efforts
but
to
different
uphold
words.
these rules, Solen Tatsuki has repeatedly violated the activity rules since joining Nijisanji EN in July of 2021. Solen Tatsuki's actions in violation of activity rules encompass a wide range of issues, such as non-compliance with rights confirmation and authorization flows, which could potentially lead to infringement of third-party rights, including copyrights. The violations also include unauthorized usage of works and assets belonging to others affiliated with AnyColor, disregarding the intentions of these parties, as well as lack of communication with creators, resulting in delays in Solen Tatsuki's commission payments to creators. Furthermore, there have been ongoing reports about inappropriate behavior by Solen Tatsuki throughout her time as a Nijisanji EN liver. We have been addressing
Is that what they just call their streamers?
As a company, we recognize that these violations of activity rules could...
I don't think I could ever be part of a team for reasons exactly like this. I would rather have my own agency and the ability to do my own thing. In my mind, I feel like being part of a corpo, as much as it can give you benefits and get you into the limelight, being forced to make... Because a lot of these content creators, they don't even get to be their own models. Like, when you sign up to be part of an agency, or like a corpo VTube agency, they give you your character. You are basically filling a role within the agency to be their character for the agency. So if you ever leave, that brand that you built with them isn't yours. When you leave the agency, you don't take that IP with you. Like, if you join an agency and they give you, like, a character per se, like, especially with Nijisanji and I think some of the other VTube corporations, essentially, you are tied to them, and any success that you are able to get is tied to the agency. And the only way you can ever circumvent that is if you're able to very, like, subversively cross-promote your personal self whilst you're doing the corporate work. So, in some respects, it's great for stability, but for the sake of your own success, it's incredibly hampering. So, I don't know. I feel like there's a big misnomer within the VTube space that being a corporate VTuber is a road to success, but it's not. It is an ability to get some success, but how permanent and permeant that success is very subjective. I personally would never want to be part of a corpo. Not unless I was under my own ability to make my own content, not doing what they wanted me to. Because there's like expectations and there's like there's certain like minimum deliverables that you have to give. And even with some of the corpos, you have to sacrifice a certain amount of your revenue that you make for the corpo. So yes, probably you will make a more consistent amount of money and you will earn a paycheck, but is it really worth it, you know? I don't know. I suppose you don't really know until you've done it, I guess.
Damage the trust placed in Nijisanji EN. We are also aware that such violations jeopardize the ongoing activities of other livers affiliated with AnyColor. Furthermore, we have consistently issued warnings to Solen each time there was a violation of activity rules. However,
Hold up. Okay, something that needs to be talked about here. This is the same, but different as gaming houses. It's exactly the same. This is the same kind of shit that you see happening when you get your big pro esport gamer houses having BS happening within them. At the end of the day, an agency, a gamer house, it is the people that make it up that make it. And there are no end of stories that happen within gamer houses of bullying, in-house fighting, pettiness, and all that kind of nonsense. It's just with this kind of stuff, there's not so much of a physical front, so you end up having the certain degrees of separation of having the drama be connotated to the face of the model. It's why this becomes so hard to kind of nail down and why there's so much gray area, because you're trying to separate the difference between, oh, was it the character or was it the person behind the character? It's why this stuff ends up being so hard to absorb for a lot of people. But yeah, I mean, I suppose I should really focus more on this subject specifically. I just thought it would be interesting to kind of talk about the fact this is a very generalized thing that happens regardless. It's just in this incident, because it's in the VTube space, everybody sees it as an opportunity to kind of get some kind of ire out of it. So I'm gonna try and let this play out and try not to interrupt unless something's actually really, really worth talking about.
Repeatedly disregarded these warnings, often failing to reciprocate.
I mean, TLDR, this whole thing is, Corpo did shady things. Streamer got bullied. Oh no. Kind of, sort of, not really, but you get the idea.
Insinuating that the
There's always two sides to a coin.
Activity rules were due to mismanagement by AnyColor. In May 2023, we sent a notice to Selene Tatsuki stating that any further violation of activity rules or
I
engaging
can't
in
help but
false or
notice the
misleading
appropriativity
statements
of having
that could
a
damage
cute
our
anime
company's
girl with
reputation
glasses
would
with a
result in the
lovely voice like
termination of
that.
our affiliation contract.
Explaining all this.
However, she has continued to violate the activity rules.
I feel
Now,
like
the
I need to
next
break the
section
immersion a
is
second.
The events leading to the suspension of Selene Tatsuki's
Let's do our
activities,
first
which,
ever
of
reaction
course,
with my
would
face.
not be announced publicly, but here we are. So amidst the aforementioned circumstances, on December 26, 2023, Selene posted a music video on her channel without prior approval, as required by the activity rules. The materials for the music video were shared for the first time with our management on December 24th, since some elements in the music video lacked proper authorization. On December 25th, we communicated with Selene that permission needed to be obtained from relevant parties, requesting her to wait before releasing it. Despite this, she disregarded the notice.
See, I might have a VTube model, but that doesn't make me a VTuber.
Posting. Our immediate response was to make the music video private until all authorizations were confirmed from our end. At the same time, the reasoning was clearly explained to Selene. However, she took to social media, making misleading statements that omitted essential context. Notably, management has privated the song. Furthermore, Selene Tatsuki's post included a statement encouraging third parties to re-upload the music video, which breaches AnyColor's guidelines for secondary creation. These actions led to various misunderstandings that damaged the reputation of both AnyColor and Nijisanji En. In an effort to calm the situation, we sought to either publicly disclose the reasons for making the music video private or have Selene Tatsuki disclose them herself. While being mindful of Selene's physical and mental health, management did their best to communicate with.
The way I'm seeing this, and this feels like the calling card of any bad industry or corpo that puts the provocation of making money above all else. Now, I mean, this all just sounds so incredibly stupid and petty and just mishandling and nonsensical and just... I mean, this is only the first video and everything, and there's going to be so much more. I can only imagine what it's going to be after this is just going to be even more petty. And just feels like, with the vagueness of everything, that they're trying to, like, the first thing that a corpo always does is to try to remove the authenticity and the credibility of the person who's accusing them. It's a typical court case, clear-cut thing. Discredit the person who's accusing you to make them seem less likely to be in the right. And the second that ever happens, the second you can tell that they're going after somebody's person rather than what they've done as a priority, just seems so disingenuous. And it makes it feel like they're being more defensive for something they've done wrong as opposed to what they're being accused of. Because, like, let's just say that what Selene, that's the name, right? Let's say what Selene did was, you know, she obviously did something to have warranted this to begin with. You know, what she did was a 3, maybe a 4. But Nijisanji are trying to make it seem like it's a 9 or a 10 and be like, oh, they're really bad. They did the stupid and yeah, we're just defending ourselves. We're a poor indie studio kind of thing, you know? That's what this feels like. It just feels like slander, disingenuity, and complete overblowing of a situation that could have been handled way more subtly. I guarantee you, if this had all been handled in DMs without going public, this would have probably never been as severe as it was.
Not only Selene herself, but also her emergency contact. However, despite frequent communication with Selene's emergency contact, while remaining considerate of her situation, we were unable to come to an agreement on how to proceed. The decision was made to temporarily remove her
my chat just said it. This scene sounds like a lot of high school drama. It does, and that's honestly what a lot of corpo drama is.
The name Selene Tatsuki.
Very petty, very superficial, and very overblown more often than not. And it usually ends up overshadowing the entire reason why this kind of stuff happened to begin with.
With the legal counsel representing Selene Tatsuki, we conveyed,
and again, this could happen even outside of VTubing. It's just
to inform the public about the reasons behind her decision to make her music video private. Additionally, we expressed
this stuff happens all the time in any industry.
Expectations for future compliance with the activity rules from here on. Despite our efforts, Selene demanded that AnyColor should be held legally responsible. She claimed that she was no longer able to engage in her activities as a liver due to the decisions made by AnyColor.
Okay, you know what? If you ever join an agency and you are willing to put up with the constraints they are willing to give you, cool, awesome. But the second, there's a way you deal with this. If you are the person joining an agency, and you have understood that they are going to give you restrictions and expectations, what it is they expect you to do, awesome. But the second they say but, the second they start asking you to do anything different, cancel your contract. Because that shows they're unwilling to abide by their own rules. And at that stage, even if there's no intent of harm or damage to be done, it shows they're not willing to hold up their own integrity. And an industry or an agency that are like that shows it's more likely to be a rocky road to potential catastrophe in the future. You are, as part of an agency, you are expected to be upheld to a standard, but so is the agency. And anytime an agency, people with power, break their own rules, just leave. Stop. Doesn't matter what it is. Even outside of VTubing, any job, agency, anything like that. When they take advantage of their own power, not worth being in. You're gonna get in trouble. You're gonna get in problems. They are very likely gonna use any kind of unethical way to make you in the wrong should anything ever happen. And at that point, you know there's no respect. You know there's no equality, I guess, would be the way. So, just a big part of this just seems like a willingness to be self-aware of the situation you're in and knowing how to pull yourself out of that sooner rather than later.
Being harassed by other affiliated livers due to management while refusing to acknowledge her responsibility for violating the activity rules. Moreover,
I mean, this is all very amusing. I don't give a shit about drama 90% of the time.
If the negotiations did not
for the
progress,
sake of, like,
she would proceed to
relativity, this is fascinating to read,
to
watch.
The public. And here's the final page.
And this is the first time I've really embroiled myself in any VTuber drama just because it's never worth it.
Are in fact referring to situations that arose when she was warned about her breaches of the activity rules and attempts to shift responsibility from...
And the thing is, like, this more permeates the idea that people aren't willing to look at the good stuff. Because there are some really nice agencies out there. There are some good VTuber agencies. There are some good gaming agencies. There are some good gaming houses out there. But all of the stuff they do normally gets overshadowed by drama. I mean, look at what happened with Warframe. Friggin' the amount, like, people the only way people get attention in the Warframe community was by talking negative stuff, because it ends up just vilifying people's negativity bias towards things. People who watch this kind of stuff, there are two types of people. There are people who are looking for just juicy drama. It's like watching a car crash in motion. People just want to watch juicy drama. It's the reason why TV works. But then there's the other type of people who are looking to vilify and verify their own negativity. People who are looking for validation for shit takes, essentially. So when you can't knock people for making content on this kind of stuff, because it is easy viewership. But that doesn't mean that the people who are watching this kind of content are reflective of the people making it. It's like, you will get incels who are just trying to be incels. And if you are an incel streamer or content creator, yes, you'll draw in incels. But more often than not, no matter who you are, I probably have incels in my community. This RevUwU very likely isn't an incel, but because they're making content about incel action, they're getting a lot of incels who are looking for that kind of validity.
For these violations, damaging Anycolor and Nijisanji Ian's image. This led to the deterioration of the relationship between her, Anycolor, and other livers affiliated with Anycolor. Anycolor firmly believes that we and the other livers under our affiliation have not engaged in unjust practices towards Selen Tatsuki, considering the irreparable damage to our company's reputation and threat to ongoing activities of other affiliated livers. We regrettably concluded that termination of our affiliation contract with Selen Tatsuki was unavoidable. And they go on basically to thank her for all of her time in Nijisanji and the, mountain of work that she did. God. Not only as a liver, but really like after all of that within this.
Yeah, you're an absolute shit. Bye. We really enjoyed your time with us, but bye.
Company. But yeah, you get the point, and they announce also that they're taking down her videos.
VTuber is probably the best one
of the statement, the actual technical language here.
Yeah.
Now you can see here that her videos are in fact gone. Luckily though, there's archives out there that you can easily find, and also her Twitter account is now private. So Selen Tatsuki, the account affiliated
God,
with
I
Nijisanji,
feel
is
so
finished.
bad
It is over.
putting in
That
all
is
that
very much
effort
clear. However, it is very
into
clear that the talent behind Selen Tatsuki is not gone because we...
So, Dokibird was the talent behind Selene, am I right in saying that? Just for the sake of, like, you know, making sure I know what's what here. Yes? Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
now can confirm that this account
Like, imagine
here, Doki,
having that chance
is the
to talk
personal
without filter,
and
knowing
past
that you have
life
your own
account
personal IP.
affiliated with the talent who was behind
I mean, at
Selen
least they're going to get a lot of
Tatsuki.
attention for
And
their
looking
personal
through the
stuff because
tweets
of all
from
this.
the past month or so, we can get some additional insights as to her disappearance on her Selen account. And
What I always find funny is seeing the difference between a person's personal brand of content versus how differently they act when they're playing the part of a given role as part of a agency. Like, I've seen a lot of like VTubers who, with the agency, they're this like, oh my god, so quirky and kawaii, and then on their personal channel, they're like really chill, they're really calm. And again, that's like kind of a given. That's kind of what you sign up for at the end of the day. But I'm someone who's more about authenticity. It's why I'm not afraid to show my face. It's why I'm just myself on stream. It's why I'm a crackhead. It's because I'm not going to put on a fake face. I'd rather just be myself and, you know, have my community behind me.
and also get the very disturbing details as to how far this affected her personally. Now, let's go back and
All right, let's
remind
find out.
ourselves how we got here so we can start filling
Yes.
in some gaps
Give
that we
us the
couldn't
deets.
before. So back on Christmas Day...
Because I think that something that I think was slightly off-putting was, you know, you read all of this and it's like, whoa, that dude, I'm barely literate. This this is a lot to take in. So you got to dumb this down for people like me.
back and remind ourselves how we got here so we can start filling in some gaps that we couldn't before. So back on Christmas Day in 2023, Selen released a music video and cover that was clearly a project that was very important to her.
I do
She
love
spent
the amount
a
of
lot time,
the kind
and
of
as we'll
content you
find
can get out of
a lot of
agencies
money
there.
on this project.
Like, I think
She
that's one of the
released it on
biggest selling
Christmas
points
Day
with
as a
agencies,
gift
just having
to her
the
community,
stability and
and she
funding
even
to do
live-streamed
things.
shortly after its release to have a celebration party
Like,
about it.
the opportunities are immense, but the risk is also immense. The dedication is also immense. Everything is amplified by 10 times when you're part of a corporation. The benefit, like, the good is great, but the bad is terrible. That is how agencies work.
However, we all know what happened only a few hours later. She made this tweet saying that management has privated the song, and she encouraged her followers to re-upload the video wherever they see fit.
Okay.
And that, to
The mistake that I see here is that she did it on she did it on the Selene account. If she had done this on her personal account, I don't think this would have been as bad. But because it was done under her corporate account, they saw this as like a besmirchment, like she wasn't willing to adhere to what the corporate wanted them to be in line with their perspective. Like, the last thing you want in an agency is to have one of your talents talking bad about you. And the freedom of speech is super important. That's why you have your personal accounts. But when it's something like this, it's a misrepresentation of the corp you're behind, which means there's not going to be any wonder when your corp see that and are like, ah, yes, that is besmirchment.
me and many others signified that there was something very serious going on here and that this video was likely to never come back, which obviously it didn't. But now we know from this personal account that this video cost $15,000 out of...
That's a lot of money. That's, I mean, for a music video, that's pretty average, I'd say, for a lot of music videos, for like really high production ones. But I mean, that sounds like a lot, but when it comes to like the corporate world, that's like a splash in the pan. That's like, for like an indie project, something that's funded by an indie studio or maybe just a few people, that's pretty average, I'd say.
Of her pocket.
Wait, what? Her pocket? Dude, I fund all my stuff myself, more or less, and when I have to spend $1,000 on something, I friggin' feel it. Imagine being part of a corp and having... Wait, what? She's part of a corp and she had to spend $15,000 of her own? Are you kidding? I mean, that would show the amount of dedication she'd have for the plan, but... Oh my
Out of her
god.
pocket, not the management. This was $15,000 of her own money she spent on this video that would be privated only hours after it was released. And you can see this tweet.
If I was part of a corp and I was like, hey, I'm gonna make this music video, and they were like, yeah, you know, maybe if it was a personal idea that I came up with, you know, I wouldn't expect the corp to fund the entire thing. But if it was something they suggested and expected you to pay for, leave. Fucking leave. Stop. Get out now. You were being taken advantage of. That is not ethical, and it's the second, again, like I said earlier, the second if a corp ever asks you to pay for something that they came up with, leave. That's a big telling sign. Maybe if it was something you came up with and you asked for help funding it, maybe I can see that, but
it was made on Christmas Day.
Oh my
God. At the time, the video was privated. So going forward, only 2 days later, on December 27th, we all know what happened. She apologized to her community for silence because after the video was privated, she didn't say anything for 2 days. And she clarifies that she had been in the hospital after an accident and was under supervision and just got access to her phone. Now, looking at her personal account, we can find out the reason she was in the hospital, and it is a very sad reason. And it confirms a lot of the major concerns people had. So she said,
here's the thing, I don't really look into these agencies all that much, but the little I've ever heard about Nijisanji has never been good. And I said this at the very beginning. If a agency makes you feel even slightly bad, money should never be worth your personal well-being. And you should never have to put up with that kind of shit. And as I said, there is an expectation on both halves. If you are part of an agency, you are expected to do things for the agency, but the agency should be doing things for you, as little as paying you, which it seems like they weren't even doing in this situation.
Said this on February 5th, the time of recording this video. I will not be silenced anymore. On December, I was hospitalized for an attempt that was caused by built-up bullying from
I mean, if nothing else, this is really exposing a shitty agency for being shitty, I guess.
Months that led to my breaking point. I requested to leave first, but on more neutral terms on January 26th.
It's scary to see how real this is, because this is the kind of stuff you would expect from a real-world job. You know, you work in an office of a toxic environment.
We can see more proof of her hospital release on December 31st. This was posted on the personal account.
Question. Do we know where Doki is from? Like, what part of the world? Because, I mean, this kind of toxicity would be expected from, like, a lot of, like, mainstream job places.
And then you can see,
I mean, yes, it is a real job. It absolutely is. But we're talking like how that line is now so merged with like when you think of content creation, you think of fun frivolity, not like
and how this is phrased,
the same kind of feeling you'd have in a
was
office.
Making this tweet, and we don't know unless she actually confirms on her personal account.
That's so sad that it got that far.
Many people are now looking at the series of events, especially in the Nijisanji statement, and they're thinking that it was management that made this tweet. Like, basically,
how corrupt does a studio, agency, or anything have to be for somebody to feel like they have to take their own life? Like,
really
God.
Concerned about where she was, because it sounds like at this point she had lost access to her accounts affiliated with Selin. So that is definitely a speculation that has some merit. But moving forward, I just want to take a moment to point out some of the really bad outcomes of this whole process.
The big problem here is, like, you can get to this kind of a situation in any walk in life, but it's even worse when you have somebody who's vulnerable in general and they have to deal with this kind of stuff to begin with. Like, of course, if you've got somebody who's, you know, emotional or privy to their instability, being part of a company or an organization that's not afraid to take advantage of people, that's just a recipe for disaster. It's crazy. God. Also, countdown. That is my donathon counter.
There was a hashtag going around that was #WhereIsSelin, and a lot of people were sharing this, and this was something I covered in a video. But a lot of people were criticizing this. A lot of people were making fun of this hashtag. People saying this is ridiculous, and that they're
listen. It's Twitter. Twitter are the kind of people who make fun of babies and would step on an orphan if they were given the chance. No shit. That's not a surprise. That's expected.
being dramatic, and that anyone using this is an idiot and so on and so forth. Well, those people look pretty stupid now, don't they? This was exactly what people were so concerned about. There was some major bad and toxic things going on behind the scenes that deeply affected.
This seems like a lot of like just the Twitter drama.
And that is something
I'm gonna skip forwards to the public statement because it's just I can see what's happening here. But I think the next important part is the statement.
Now let's listen to this voice tweet. It's about 2 minutes long, but it gives you some insight as to where she's at right now and what she's planning for the future.
Okay, so I waited until I stopped crying, and I'm more calm now to make this voice tweet. But thank you everybody for all the love and all the support you've all given me so far.
Yeah,
And
she sounds done. She sounds fed up. She sounds exhausted. That sounds like me after the first 100 days of the Donathon. But here's the thing. As much as being a public image gets you to this stage to begin with, at the very least, and there is always, like, it's always worth looking at least one positive to try and have some silver lining to hold on to. At least in a space like this, which you would never have in, like, an office job or anything else in, like, the real world, per se. At least with this kind of thing, you have people who will support you. You've built your image. You've been part of a community, and you will have built up fans who would have been a fan of you rather than the brand and face that you were making for the corpo. So if nothing else, at least in this situation, and with this kind of forward-facing agency kind of job, she will have people supporting her and backing her up, which is so important when it comes to dealing with suicide, internal compromise, all that kind of snaz. So I'm glad that she was able to kind of like bounce back in some way.
Honestly caught off guard by the announcement as well. I was luckily awake because all I do is just play games until I'm really, really, really tired, and then to force myself to sleep because
And sometimes you forget that. These are just regular people like you and I.
Long time.
Like, people get it muddled sometimes when they see big numbers on people's Twitter, like, they're the bastion of example, and they are like the beacon for us all to follow, but it doesn't matter how many numbers you have. We are all human. We all are privy to our emotions. We all can be compromised. We can all be taken advantage of. Just because somebody has clout and big numbers doesn't mean they're any different to the rest of us. So it's kind of grounding when you see somebody who's, you know, you look up to and aspire to suddenly being shook like this. It's why I hate celebrities, because I feel like people aren't willing to support somebody when they're big. Like, oh, they're too big. They don't need my support. Completely the opposite. If anything, being on a pedestal means you need more support because you have that many people, that much more weight on your shoulders.
And I guess I was lucky enough to be awake at the right time to have friends message me about what was going on. But anyway, I just want to say thank you, everybody. Just a huge weight off my shoulders, and it's going to be hard, but I know we are strong together. And I'm just happy I'll be able to celebrate Lunar New Year with all of you, because that was what I was most, I guess, not most concerned about, but at least we get to start off Lunar New Year a little happier. Anyway, also gone thoughts at Chimboyan, to kaicho support all. Hohoy samoy tong kamdoyan, kingai tong kamdoyan kamoy.
Okay, let's just skip forwards. The end of that.
And as discussed in that voice tweet, she is making a return. You can see this post made only hours ago.
I love that, like the return for herself. But I suppose the rest of this is just what fallout from it, everything.
Once again, streaming on this Doki account. Very exciting stuff. Definitely check it out. I will leave a link to her Twitter account in the description. Go over there, give it a follow.
Cool.
Follow her other social medias and get ready, because I think she's going to be exploding over the next.
Oh yeah, no,
couple
this
of
was
months.
like, kind of a
She's gonna
given.
have
Like
very, very big
the whole
career
bollocks,
because she's not only
and
someone that
it's
is
a
deeply
shame what
beloved
actually
by
happened
her
to her.
fans and respected by the
But when
VTuber
this does prove the point that drama does bring attention, and people are always willing to back somebody up who's been treated wrong. There was an example of a streamer who got harassed by a another YouTuber, and everybody rallied behind her. Everyone kind of pulled behind her, and now she's doing even better. Now that and now that she's gotten through the negativity of what happened, she's actually doing better than she ever has. Doesn't change the fact that the shit happened to begin with, but people will always rally behind somebody who's getting mistreated by big corpos. Always.
being seen. She is someone who is very capable, not just a great entertainer, but she is someone who carried the responsibilities of Nijisanji management. She was the one
that's totally
was
true.
setting
Totally
up
true.
international tournaments on her own.
There was a lot of...
She was the one paying out of pocket to support artists who were involved in art competitions for her own VTuber design. She was
okay,
the
so we get the idea. I think this by the look of this last one is actually what's this?
There is a surge where right now with Selen's termination, every Nijisanji EM
I don't usually immerse
generation
myself in
has
the
lost
corpo
at
world as a
least
VTubing
one
space, but this is
member.
fascinating.
And most of these members have left in the past couple of weeks. There is some.
I think this is actually like a really important thing that if you are ever interested in joining a corpo, look at the corpo's history and make sure you know the corpo you're signing up to. Because a lot of people will join them and then realize only later that, oh wait, shit, these guys are dicks. So this looks like it's the repercussions of what happened afterwards. This one might be a bit interesting to see what's being said about it.
A very rough time period for the reputation of Nijisanji. As most of you already know, yesterday Nijisanji announced they terminated their contract with Liver Selen Tatsuki.
This is what we
and in
already
the
watched.
process released this document, essentially throwing her under the bus. Now, a lot of the claims in that document were contested by tweets made by Selen on her past life account called Dokibird, where she revealed...
Okay, so this looks like the new stuff.
So one thing that's been consistent throughout the past 24 hours is a bukkake of...
What does this say? Lack of communications with... Oh, they got blue... Dude, you know... what was that? Oh, yeah. Dude, you know you are when you've been Twitter noted. Like, when... There is no more telling sign that you have done some shit. Don't be sorry, dog. Don't be sorry. You're fine. It's fine. That's what editing's for. That you have fucked up when you get a Twitter note like this. Like, good lord. As I say, lack of communication with the creators resulted in delays with Selene commission payments to creators. Creators who have been commissioned by Selene have stepped forward, denying these claims, even saying that she paid them out of pocket. Yup. Based blue post. Thank you, Twitter.
Community notes being
no one more
attached
based on
to
Twitter.
Nijisanji's termination announcement. So Nijisanji has been sending in the assassins. They're doing their best to take down these community notes, but they keep popping up as soon as they're taken down.
Of course. Nijisanji cannot take responsibility for the fact that they were being incredulous. So no, you can't prove us wrong. No. This is all besmirchment and slander and hearsay. No, we're the big corpo. You can't make us look bad. Oh my god, that's so sad.
So moving forward, a lot of people have focused on a certain portion of that document where they claim that it wasn't Nijisanji and their management who was bullying and harassing Selen. It was actually other livers within the English branch.
Okay. Bullshit. That's still management. What is management's job? To manage. And if there are livers or your streamers bullying other streamers within your agency, then that is a failing of management to organize your streamers. It just means there's the extra step of having the talent also being in the wrong. If management aren't managing, that is an issue of management. My god.
Leads to the question, who were these people bullying Selen? Because the document doesn't name them, so now people are trying to guess. And as you can see, since the termination announcement, many different...
Ooh, I hate this. I don't think this is the appropriate way to protest something. Doing a broad spectrum unfollowing I mean, I get it. You will probably hit the person you don't agree with or is actually guilty. But you're just going to negatively affect some people who just aren't even part of it. Like, ooh, yikes.
And livers at Nijisanji have lost thousands.
I mean, maybe that's your way of saying you don't support Nijisanji anymore in general, but
people who are just upset with Nijisanji as a whole and want to just show that
I do not think that somebody's career should be affected because of drama. If it's like somebody doing something on Twitch having their account permanently deleted for something that isn't just blatant racism or something, like something that's a bit more ambiguous and just like an oopsie kind of thing, do I think they should get told off and punished? Absolutely. Do I think that they should lose their career or have their financial stability affected because of some maybe non-consequential drama or something that wasn't even related to them? No. No, I don't. Unless it is like blaringly blatant and non-considerate, then it shouldn't. They shouldn't be. That should not be the way this kind of stuff is handled.
Subscribing to different livers, but there's also people looking around and making guesses. They're on a witch hunt saying, "I wonder
witch hunting is the worst way of handling
based
anything.
on X, Y, and Z. It might
Without
be this
doubt.
person." So they're unsubscribing.
But you want to know why
now we're left with
they do it? Because it's the easy option.
All of these
rather
livers
than
are being affixed.
rather than looking into it and getting
that
evidence and doing the research, they just do a blanket.
They're trying to create this
blanket attack.
that
They just do
no
a broad
involvement with this
spectrum.
bullying and mistreatment and toxic
Because they're not
work
willing to put the
environment
effort in.
was
It's like, well,
livers.
this
But
is too
of
many brain cells for me to require. I guess I'm just gonna not be part of it and unfollow everyone and affect everyone rather than the couple people. I mean, I get it. It is a lack of faith then in the brand or the agency, which is fair. But
Of course, when you don't name them, this is the result. However, a lot of Nijisanji
if Nijisanji were gonna be responsible, they would have maybe like outed the people who were doing it. But because they didn't, they've done themselves more damage because people are just gonna jump to conclusions.
Have come out to make tweets about the situation, despite being quiet for the first couple of hours in the wake of the termination announcement. So Renzoto came out and said, "I'll speak for myself. Very
Unfortunately,
unfair
they are
situation.
pandering to
I'm
the
really
average
upset.
VTuber
Please be
enjoyer who have
respectful."
less brain cells than me.
Tex Haywire came out and
So
said,
kind
very
of a
cryptically,
given this would happen.
"The truth will set you free." Roseme said, "Saddened with everything going on, I'll take a few days off social media for my well-being. Take care,
Good.
everyone."
Absolutely.
And then Kyo came out and said, "Hey guys,
Never-
I think I'm
guys,
gonna cancel tonight's stream."
I can't overstate this. Being a terminal social media enjoyer will only be a negative in the grand scheme of things. Do not make social media your entire existence. It will not be healthy for you.
See you tomorrow, which is very unfortunate timing of all of this, because only a few days ago, it was announced that Kyo would be graduating on February 17th.
Oh, I remember this.
And as people have pointed out, this has really made a very complicated and upsetting situation for someone like Kyo, because this is overshadowing what should be a celebration as he's heading out the door.
Hey, Iron.
He was streaming throughout the time between
15
the
Watch
announcement
Street.
and
Nice,
his
dude.
graduation stream on the 17th, and he's supposed to be streaming. Now he's canceling streams because of everything going on with the shared their experiences with Nijisanji's management. You can see this tweet saying
Oh, I forgot Sayu is actually part of Nijisanji.
right here that a former talent, or a talent that was considering to join Nijisanji, was asked to give up his entire voice acting career. All
See what I mean? When an agency is not willing to compromise with you, if an agency wants you to compromise but isn't willing to make a compromise of their own, not worth it. Don't join. Just don't. Agencies, being part of an agency and being part of a corpo should not be as big of an aspiration as people make it out to be. It is great to have that stability. It is great to have some backing. It is great to have a structured environment to be part of. But people make agencies and corpos the epitome of what it means to be a VTuber, and I find that incredibly disingenuous to what being a VTuber is all about. It's being part of an agency only works for a certain type of people. It should never be the thing that you epitomize.
together if he was to join Nijisanji.
For your voiceover, do you have an agent?
God, I love his design. I love Sayu's design. God, I mean, maybe that's just my ADHD scatterbrain sensory overload mind just enjoying that, but good lord.
And I was like, yeah, I have an agent. Hey, Meow Maida, thank you for the prime.
14-month punk.
Yeah,
And I was
I'm
like,
glad
I
he
have
had
an
enough
agent.
sense
And
to
they were
know
like,
part of it.
Okay, would you quit your agency? And I was like, I don't feel the need to because I feel like agency and management are different. I'm like, okay, cool. So you prioritize your voiceover. And I was like, huh? What? In the genjutsu? What? What do you mean? Huh? And that didn't work out.
Yikes.
With Niji, they told me I could not do voiceover at all.
What?
And I was like, no.
Yeah, that's like such a bad take. Like, even from an agency's perspective, like, why would you stifle someone's leading point? Like, maybe rather than trying to stop them from doing it entirely, you should compromise and try to make it part. Like, it's all well and good having a character in mind for what you want somebody joining an agency to personify, but if somebody has a talent or something they're really passionate about, don't stifle that. Don't, like, it's about compromise. Be willing to adjust an idea to meet the person that you're trying to get to join you. If you're not even willing to consider the person that's joining you's talents and skills, then what the fuck are you doing? Oh my god.
And they were like, is that non-negotiable? I was like, hey, I would love to work with you guys, but yeah.
If they even, the second they said that, I would have noped. The second they said, I wouldn't even consider.
Creators within and outside of Nijisanji have reacted to this situation. But here's
something about the mods revolting.
However,
kind of seems unpertinent.
Some other users took to Wikipedia to start editing the pages
God,
related to Nijisanji.
Yeah, of course, that's going to happen. That's the internet.
First sentence of the Nijisanji page, for a moment, said this: Nijisanji is a black company owned by Any Color. Now, if you don't know what a black company is,
okay, so the rest of this just look. The rest of this kind of looks like just the
towards its own workers. Now, if you
revolting
go to the
of the community, which it's you know, it's funny to watch, but it's what you kind of expect. I mean, company does it bad. People don't like the bad. Merch companies, clippers, and artists boycott Nijisanji. I mean, this is like a play-by-play of what happens when an industry or an agency does it bad. Agency does it bad. I mean, look at YouTube and the Adgate, Adpocalypse even. You know, a company does it bad, everyone pulls out, nobody wants to support them anymore. They lose their stuff. That's kind of a given. Oh, but Nijisanji responds. Let's see what
last night, Nijisanji made their first public tweet since the termination announcement, and guess what it was? A merch plug. Yes, ladies and
Dude, talk about tone deaf. Like, hold on. This deserves a face cam ovation. Bravo. Bravo fucking oh. Tone deaf as fuck. My god. This is almost as bad as, fucking the day before devs. Being like, no guys, it wasn't a bad game. We were just a poor indie studio.
And gentlemen, after facing a accusation that one of their livers was bullied from within the organization to the point of attempting her own life, their response next
You'd be better off
is to sell
posting
merch.
nothing rather than
it's
that.
probably not that surprising given their history. They're probably trying to maximize everything they can, clear out stock.
Ah, that's true. They saw all the extra faces looking at their content and they're like, you know what? We have more eyes than normal because of this controversy. Merch time! And that, if anything, epitomizes the entire thing that's wrong with us to begin with. They didn't just want some of the money, they wanted all of the money. Everything they've done has been deliberate due to money. It is nothing but greedy. It's like the Mr. Krabs meme. What inspired you to be a disrespectful piece of shit? Money. And why did you want to do that? Money. That's it. Nijisanji are just Mr. Krabs.
And do the best they can as the negative reaction to their company grows. And yeah. But there is some good news out of this situation.
Oh my god. Remember the last video? She had like 100,000 followers? No kidding. Like I said, it's not a surprise that when
Don't worry, this is not the end of the story. It gets worse when they decide to do their own statement.
That does not surprise in the slightest. But yeah, there's more videos. We are gonna check most of them out. If not, just skimming through them. Yeah, but this is not a surprise. People will always rally behind the little guy when it comes to a little, like in a David and Goliath situation. People will always get behind the person that's on the smaller side of things, because it's more relatable. It's who they see themselves as being. Like, no single person would want to be this person dealing against a corpo. That's exactly why. So this next one was Nijisanji calls Celine termination financially negligible in an attempt to calm shareholders. Yikes. Yikes. Okay, let's read the statement. Let's read what they had to say.
Now this is what everyone's talking about. This is the update from yesterday. Nijisanji appears to be in damage control
I know, Heckle.
mode,
I know.
okay?
I haven't seen them, but I'm trying to put my own voice in on them as
website,
well.
They have released
I would like to
addressing-
think that I am able to be up to that kind of standard of actually like being an interesting voice, lending my ear on this. Like being a cynical little fuck that says, yo, you be a little shit, you're gonna be a little shit. And if something smells like shit, my god, Jeremy, it's gonna be shit.
Everything that is going on with the Celine termination and the fallout from it. You can see this is a direct message to their investors. It says, impact of the decision to terminate the affiliation contract with the Nijisanji Liver on our financial results. Here is the entire statement. Everything that's happened over the past couple of days, this is their official response.
I thought that was like a little bar that was holding off everything else. Is that literally it? Made the decision to terminate our affiliate contract with the impact decision was on a... That's it? That's all they had to say? With everything that happened, all they could muster was 2 sentences. Are you kidding me? Talk about no empathy, no sympathy, no self-awareness, completely off-based. Like, this is like a friggin' grown-ass man punching an elderly woman in the face to steal her wallet, getting caught, being told to apologize, and like, I guess I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You you. Ooh, how completely off-based.
On February 5th, 2024, Anycolor made the decision to terminate our
Again,
affiliation
this is
contract
just,
with
this
the
holds up.
Nijisanji
Every decision that Nijisanji made was because of money. So no
on our financial results
shit
will be negligible.
The only thing
Now,
about this
if you
was
don't know what that
money.
word means, it's basically like meaningless or uneventful. No impact whatsoever. That's what they're saying. 2 sentences. That is their entire response, and they're basically saying there will be no negative financial results as a consequence of firing Celine. Now, besides the outrageous claim that this will have no bad financial results on their company, let's just remember what was in the original document. In the termination
let's remind
document they shared
ourselves,
on
shall we?
Twitter, they
At no
clearly
point,
state-
so far, up until this point, at no point have Nijisanji or Anycolor actually apologized or addressed the emotional or ethical situation. Everything has been about saving face for money and their own brand and identity. That has been the only thing they've shown to care about. So no kidding. As things go on, the shit that smelled like shit is gonna continue to smell like shit. Oh, wow. That, yeah. So they say that the eye of the beholder is becoming. Well, in the eye of the beholder, the eye of the stock market, like the power of the power of perspective there's power behind perspective, and if people perceive your company to be shit, nobody wants to be associated to a company that's basically the equivalent of VTuber Nazis. No kidding. No shit, Sherlock. Look what happened with Blizzard again when they decided to do shit that made them look bad. The second you have a bad public face, your shareholders are gonna dip. Nobody wants to be associated with, you know, bad actors. Nobody wants to be associated with the guys that hate.
Highlighted the 5th of February, the day they made the termination announcement, and you can see what's happened in the
then
past
there was
couple
like,
of days since
this
then.
obviously then causes
Not a very good
brands
look.
to pull out,
I mean,
no
it's
more
essentially like
sponsorships.
Nijisanji and Anycolor are burying their heads in the sand.
They
yesterday,
keep losing
a lot of
subscribers.
the
That's kind of a
fellow
given.
livers
Just going
from
over what's already been
Nijisanji
talked
are
about.
hemorrhaging subscribers,
And
losing
an
thousands.
Alouette drama?
All the livers, the one people are talking the most about right now is Enna. So what happened was she made some comments during a members-only stream that took place yesterday that had some people very upset or concerned. Now, of course, This is a members-only stream. This is something you have to pay to be a part of. This is paywall content. I can't show the clips.
Paywall content? I would never do that. By the way, guys, putting sub-only mode on.
Because I know that any color is itching to copyright strike down any video talking about them negatively. I mean, they've done it in the past. They've completely abused the
Yeah, I mean, if a company, like, that is the calling card of an insecure corp or brand is when they are going out of their way to delete comments or anything that represents some negativity. If they like, and that's kind of a given. You expect that with how unethical they've been since the word go. That's kind of expected from the kind of personality they've put across. That's not a surprise in the slightest. There's something more from Dokibird
right now. But moving forward, we've seen a lot of.
See, this is the I like to see. This is the positive I love to see coming out of this.
One person who's definitely
when you got a corpo being shit, seeing something positive come out of it is fantastic. Seeing Dokibird thrive. I don't even know what Dokibird makes. She could be an ASMR streamer. She could make friggin' shit statues for all I know. But the fact that she has risen out of this brings a warm candle to me art.
Making her return to, and she has crossed over 300,000 subscribers already in 2 days. And a reminder,
damn, I've uploaded about 50 videos and I've only gotten 20,000. I say only, that's still a lot.
Streaming and making
damn, maybe I should join a corpo and get into some drama to get some attention like this.
As you can see right now, hours before this stream's even happening,
that's a joke, by the way. I'd never do that.
She has over 6,000 people waiting in the chat.
But again, this point proves my point. People are drawn to drama. Because I guarantee you, out of the 6,200 people there, 3,000 people are the people there supporting her. The other 3,000 people are the people wanting closure on the drama, who want to see what all the hubbubaloo is about. I guarantee you, a lot of the people who were in that stream were only there to be like, oh, what's the juicy drama? Yeah, this is part 2 of my my sitcom that I've been watching. Oh man, Frasier's about to friggin' pop a cap in Scooby-Doo's ass cheeks. Oh man, I can't believe we get the resolution. Yeah, they're gonna speak. Let them speak. So the next video is Dokibird humiliates Ninja. Oh, we love a little bit of payback. We love a little bit of payback. Yes.
So this may shock you, but today's topic is once again Nijisanji related drama.
What? VTube news person capitalizing on drama that has clicks to it and focusing on the negativity bias rather than focusing on things that could be positive. Who would have seen that? Wow. I mean, to be fair, I will give
Makari well 100 hours now.
I will give VTuber one thing. I will give them one thing. At the very least, they're staying biased. They're not trying to take a side. They're not trying to focus on the negativity. They're reporting it as it is, which is important. Being neutral as a reporter is really, really important. You know, it's a reporting. It is. I just wish there was more reporting than just negativity.
Because last night, we got the big events. The re-debut stream of Dokibird, which is, of course, the past life account of Selen Tatsuki, who was recently terminated by Nijisanji. That decision and the accompanying documents have been heavily criticized by the internet over the past couple of days. Making matters worse, yesterday, Nijisanji, through their management, Anycolor, released this statement
regarding
we saw that already.
So let's skip that for a sec.
What happened yesterday. So for the stream, I was like many of you, I was there from the pre-stream chat all the way until the end.
That's how many people were watching, right? She had 31,000 people watching her? Sheesh! Again, proves my point. This carries over from what I was saying earlier.
And before she even went live, there was at points over 40,000 people waiting for the stream to go live.
40,000 people waiting?
The view count was absolutely insane.
100,000! People wanted closure. People wanted to see what all the hubbubaloo was about. People wanted to be in that. People wanted to feel part of it. That's exactly what it is. And look, even watching this, $100 donation, all that money that she would have sunk. Dude, imagine having all this happen. And on your first stream back, you probably made all that money back that you invested and was stolen from you by the corpo.
Over 100,000+ concurrent viewers at the majority of the stream, and at points topping over 120,000, which, to give you an idea, that's like 2 football stadiums worth of people.
That's 3 Asmongold streams.
People. And to give you a further idea, Opera GX, when they debuted their VTuber Aura, they embedded her stream on their browser, and they still didn't get a number anywhere near as close as to what Dokibird got. Also, in terms of support, she's not monetized, so you can't be a member of her channel yet, but you could still give donations. And the amount of donations that people sent through yesterday was like...
Sympathy and empathy will always drive people to be generous. Because, scarily enough, and this is something I wish people would focus on more, the vast majority of people in this world are caring, are empathetic, are nice, and do legitimately care about people. Just because there's the few that are little shitbags, they are the vocal minority. By human nature, we are here to help each other, and people will always rally behind somebody who has been ostracized, or stepped on, or trodden on, or pushed down by some big corpo. It generates apathy, it generates empathy, and it generates sympathy, and that is the epitome, right there.
Multiple average American salaries worth. Like, it was an insane amount of support. In fact, at a point in her stream, I decided to poke my head in and check on her Twitch account, which was offline, by the way. And despite being offline,
a level 16 offline hype train.
A level 16
You'll love to see
hype
it.
Train, which is insane. It's like a spoil of...
I've gotten to a level 21 hype train, but that was when I was like knee deep in a donathon. Good lord.
Well, at this point.
This is the camaraderie I love to see. This is the side of the VTube sphere that needs to be spotlighted more. This kind of stuff should be focused on and talked about more. Because as much as the negativity and the drama gets reported on, there is so much good that happens. Like, as cynical as I am of the VTube sphere, as cynical as I am, there are amazing people. There are beautiful people. There's amazing things that happen in the VTube space, and this proves it.
B-movie. But of course, you guys are here for the drama. What did she say about the Nijisanji situation? Well, we would get a couple comments on that are very revealing. So number one, she talked about financials. She states that in the last year, she spent over $200,000.
That's more than the average. That's like 5 times more than the average salary, and she just spends that on what? And wow! And the fact that the corpo wasn't even paying her properly. That was money that she would have had to have earned outside of her friggin' brand. 200,000. There are people who don't see that amount of money in their lives. And the fact that she was forced to pay that because the people that she put her faith in weren't willing to back her up is, oh my god.
On projects for her company. And she did not make a profit at the end of the year.
My mom scolded me about this because...
I love that shit-eating grin.
All of this.
She is totally allowed to have that grin on her face.
During all of this.
See, I love this design of model. The slight tangent, I hate gratuitous over-sexualization for the sake of over-sexualization, because apparently sex is the only thing that some VTubers can sell. Smiley face. But when you're able to, like, have a personality take charge and let your design yourself, like, this is more about VTuber philosophy than anything else. Like, design and expression and personality should always be the paramount thing about your content, not how fat your tits are. I'm just saying. And that design's adorable.
She looked at my financials, and I made 0 profit last year.
Her accountants must have hated her. Her accountants must have hated her. Like, she would go to her accountants and be like, okay, so we spent 200,000. You made money back, right? Right? You made money on that, right? Might as well have gone to the dog races.
Because you spent $200,000 last year. And
$200,000. Still the least amount of money that somebody has ever spent on Genshin Impact.
I was like...
Oh, bless her.
That hurt. Oh, that hurt.
So hearing those comments, I, like many others, asked the very simple question, what does Nijisanji even do? Because these talents are going out and spending their own money out of pocket to fund...
Well, you know what I'm going to predict they do? Nothing. They just keep holding face. Up until this point, they've not cared. They're probably going to continue not caring. They will just perpetuate the image that nothing is wrong and that they are not in the wrong.
projects relating to the agency. Normally, that is the responsibility of the agency. What's even crazier is talents like Selene and others have been punished for the ways they've gone about paying for these projects and the way they've had them actually laid out. Because Nijisanji seems to sit back and do everything in their power to impede these projects and even punish them for the way they go about it, when they shouldn't be the ones who are funding these projects. It
No,
should be
duh. Again,
Nijisanji.
that's like basic
And
101.
Going forward, she would address much more directly what is going on with the situation with Nijisanji, and she would make her final thoughts about it. So number one, she will say that she didn't want any of this to go public.
So, as y'all know, when the announcement dropped, I was just as surprised as all of you, and I only found out because a friend messaged me, and I didn't even know what was in it, and I read it for the first time.
Dude, just look at
I
that.
went public.
$200, $100.
And I still know that I did try to leave neutral, because I knew it would be very bad for
The amount
everyone
of
involved
spoilers.
if it went to the last possible route. I wouldn't have made the statement if the announcement didn't go up the way it did, and
that's the crux of it all. Nijisanji just didn't handle this professionally. They had a slight issue with the way Doki was presenting and reflecting on things. And rather than, you know, handling things subtly, they just pressed the fucking nuke button. They just went full thermal nuclear warfare on a slight houseplant.
I was willing to keep the info hidden to the public, and I never truly wanted the public to know why I was in the hospital, but I had to respond.
And that's the logical way of dealing with things. You would want
So
to keep
beyond
this
that,
private.
then she would go and explain the reasons
Jesus.
for her
The fact that
attempts,
Nijisanji was so
claiming
out of touch.
that she has proof of everything that happened, and proof that was approved by her lawyer. That this was all a buildup of many different things that happened repeatedly over the course of months. This wasn't just a one-time thing. This was a continuous...
Somebody made a comment. That's... You're not even wrong. The way she was being treated... Like, okay, so you're part of an organization that requires you to do things, has expectations for you, and they keep you indentured to a standard, and you are mandated by your contract to do things to that standard. And they weren't paying her. Now, we have a word for that. It's called slavery. And I don't know about you guys, but the last I checked, I'm pretty sure slavery was abolished in most first world countries many years ago.
Set of behaviors that were causing her emotional distress.
Yeah, dingus.
I was in the hospital for an attempt, and I provided medical documents of everything that happened to prove it, as well as the therapy sessions afterwards and doctor evaluation. Everyone knew I was in the hospital and the reason behind it a few days before I was discharged. And I was not referencing something that happened once that pushed me to it, but it was a buildup that stemmed for multiple months that led to my breaking point. I would never make this claim, but proof or confirmation, and only did so.
I think that's important to talk about as well, is that
and believed and agreed.
it would have been easy to have like started this whole conversation with no like backing.
What I showed.
But the amount
So
of
reading
like
between the
evidence
lines of
and
what she said,
like not even
it
circumstantial
seems
evidence,
from
but
her
just
perspective
blatant
that Nijisanji knew about the
blatant
bullying.
information
They knew
about
this
what
issue
happened was
and
probably what helped
simply
propagate
didn't
this
care.
so well.
They didn't do anything about it. They didn't try to stop it.
Nijisanji thought that they were dealing with a bee's nest tactfully, but literally all they did was shake the hive. Again, none of this would have been nearly as bad, but exacerbating it the way they did, they cut you. I believe there's a term here. You get what you fucking deserve.
And then they knew about her recent attempt and some of the reasons for it.
What
And
do you mean
still
using a
went
flamethrower on that
public to
beehive
throw her
also
under
burnt
the
down
bus
my
to
house,
save
the
their
neighbor's
own
house, and 3 houses down?
With no
What do you
regard
mean?
for her well-being.
But at least I
all.
got the bees.
What do you call that? Black company. if it wasn't obvious already, what else do you call this other than a black company? A company that is exploiting
Hey, actually, send me the 1,000 biddies.
Asterisk CK round and find out.
Yes,
workers
absolutely.
and doesn't care about their well-being and only sees them as some sort of a financial means to an end. That's it. And going beyond that, to really add the cherry on top, she didn't get a graduation stream, as we know.
Now, if you're not a VTuber or part of the VTube space, you don't know what a graduation is. A graduation is when you say, you know what, I'm done with this character. It doesn't mean you're retiring from content. It means you're just not, you don't want to be with that character. Sometimes it means you are giving up on streaming entirely, a lot of the time. But to to not even be given the chance to say goodbye, it's just a reinforcement of how lacking in ethical balance Nijisanji were.
So make a final set of words, a final message about what really she wants for the future and how she wants to view things and to move forward with her career and move forward from all of these negative experiences.
My final note on all of this is let's not harass or bully anybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Golly! It's almost like being a good human being and not wanting to propagate bullshit should be the way we all live our lives. This is the average human response. The response you should have in a situation like this. Nobody should want to have this kind of stuff spill over. Nobody should want other people to be part of it. Nobody should want negativity to propagate more than it has to. My God. The fact that people don't see that is baffling.
I already know how that felt. I want us to be adults and not make it high school. And I want to move on. Focus on us.
Yes.
Succeed. And
Move
be
on to
better.
better and brighter pastures.
And
The second you're able to get away from something being a negative influence, drop it.
And it's time to leave the past behind us.
Yes, thank you.
And make new memories.
Almost like that's the rational thing to
Like
do.
This entire stream,
Niji-Sanji.
I have.
And yet,
so
I guarantee,
many
like,
ideas.
I haven't seen any of the other videos after this, but I know for a fact that Nijisanji, in their superficial state, with the amount of butthurt and wanting to save their brand, we're not going to be willing to leave it alone. This is the equivalent of Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp just wanted to live his life, and, you know, he may not have been the best of examples, but she just wants to move on. But Nijisanji, they were like, no, we're not the bad guy.
Ideas I still want to do. And I really do want to make all you laugh for as long as I can.
Like, Nijisanji probably gonna pull out some random skeleton from the closet being like, yeah, she friggin' shot a granny, by the way. We don't know that she did, but we're gonna say she did.
And they can never really take that away.
So as we close out of this video,
Oh my gosh. This might be the last video we watch on this other than the final video. Because everything else that's come between that last one we watched and the final video is basically just, you know, Dokibird's doing well and basically Rev kind of just capitalizing on a trend, I guess. But hey, not knocking UwU, not knocking Rev, but it's what you do in this kind of situation when you're prodding. So this one is Nijisanji has thrown Dokibird under the bus, which, as I said a second ago, who would have seen that coming?
So just when you thought maybe the Nijisanji drama was starting to die down,
Nope.
This whole situation has been revived.
Nijisanji looked at the whole thing. They had every opportunity to walk away. They had this is like somebody got into a fist fight with a guy at a bar, got their ass absolutely handed to them. They get up, blood pouring from their face, and they look at the person who beat their ass and said, yeah, that's what you get. And then the guy who beat them up turns around for a second go.
And not only revived, made much worse for Nijisanji because their management, as well as several of their EN livers, have once again thrown Celine under the bus with public statements made tonight. Now,
Like I said at the beginning of all this, what do you do when you have no credence of your own? To save your own face, you de-platform the person slandering you, you decredit them, you try to ruin their image, you try and make them the bad guy,
I
and
ain't here nitrogen monoxide bell, bitch.
you try and make them seem, you shift the blame, you try and shift the identity of who is at fault. And that is more of a sign of somebody who, or a business or an organization or a company that are lacking in morals, lacking in self-awareness, and just have no ability to be responsible for their own actions.
Now, we all thought that this
look at
initial document announcing the termination and the negligible comments were a terrible decision, but what we're going to look at tonight is far worse. Now, there's a lot to go over, so what I'm going to do is go in chronological order of all the events tonight, and we're going to see how everything plays out. So first, we have this stream from Dokibird. This is the past life account of Selene Tatsuki, and she was supposed to stream at 5 p.m. PST, and she was supposed to play Neopets. However, things would get very messy when right around that time, there was this video.
Oh, and you know that they posted this at the time she was streaming so that the most amount of people would see it. So that Nijisanji would get the most amount of eyes on them. And that at the same time, they could be subversive of Doki trying to stream. Talk about... This is petty. This is just unbelievably petty. This is worse than playground bullying or playground pettiness.
A message from Nijisanji EN that was posted on the account of EN Liver Alira Pandora. Now, this video is very, very interesting because now we're hearing directly from several members of the EN branch, including Alira, Vox Akuma, and Ike Evelyn. They both spent 5 minutes apiece talking about the Selene termination, and I'll give you a too long didn't read version of events. They spend the entire 15 minutes defending Nijisanji and their decisions,
of course,
and they completely and utterly throw Selene under the bus.
You reckon that these guys got paid for defending Nijisanji? In fact, the reason why they might be defending Nijisanji is because they're the only ones who are getting paid.
They claim that she was a bad person in many regards, that she was lying about being bullied and harassed, and that she was putting them in danger. There's a big focus on a legal document.
I mean, in some respects, none of us will ever know the full story. But this reeks of desperation. Maybe, who knows? Maybe behind closed doors, maybe Doki was a bad guy. We, as secondhand enjoyers, will never know the full story. However, what we can go off of is conjecture. What we can go off of is shown evidence and some conjecture. And what we've seen, what is evidence, heavily leads in the fact that Nijisanji are the bad. Is it 100% true? Who knows? But off of the conjecture and evidence presented, we can kind of make a presumption for ourselves.
This was a legal document being prepared by Selene and her lawyers, and this document, as we'll find out, was only supposed to be viewed by Selene, her lawyer, and the lawyers for Nijisanji. But somehow, all three of these livers saw this document, reviewed it, claimed that there was no harassment in it, and even went as far as to claim that it put their safety at risk because there was private information about them in this document that they weren't.
Countersue them. They breached the clause of the legal binding. That's illegal. That's actually illegal. I mean, at that point, Dokibird is obviously so done with it. They just want it to be done. They want to be out of that situation. If they countersue, it just reignites the fire that Nijisanji want. Nijisanji are begging for Doki to sue them so that it can give them validation to say, if she was innocent, she wouldn't be suing us. So that they can spin the narrative that she's the bad guy. The fact, assuming, again, we're going to find out, obviously, but if Dokibird didn't sue them back for this, then she wins. She just instantly wins. It's like a bully. You don't respond to them.
Aren't supposed to see, and they were claiming that they're worried that Selene was going to publicly dox them and put their private lives and their safety at risk.
And talk about so lacking in morals.
To play the victim,
you have to expose somebody's real life.
In this clip you're going to listen to.
Put somebody in danger in their real situation.
Staff received documents from Selene's lawyer containing examples of her life experiences under any color. These documents.
I'm sorry, guys. I've maxed this out. I can't hear it.
Question included personal information of some livers, and when it was sent to us, we learned that there was a potential that this information could be made public. Some of the information poses a risk to our personal safety and puts some of us at risk of doxing.
It does sound like an AI voice, but it's not. This is just somebody who's taken all emotion out of their voice so that they can make this as neutral as possible to sound professional.
Notably, one section of this document alludes to where Millie, Anna, and I live. However, there are also harmful claims Selene made in the document about some livers' personal information that we believe are simply untrue. I felt threatened and scared of speaking out about the situation.
Oh, you know they're reading a
because
script.
of the risk that
Absolutely.
it could pose to not just my own
Hello
safety.
there.
Ah! Oh, okay, that's why I don't turn my audio all the way up. No, they're absolutely reading a script. No, without doubt. Like, Nijisanji would not risk somebody voicing their honest opinion because it means they can't control the narrative.
Safety, but the safety of those around me as well.
So besides the
Fuck me! God, Jesus. Okay, well, at least we heard the
absolutely ridiculous claims that they're trying to make, that Selene was going to dox them.
Okay,
documents
Rob,
ahead-
we're just gonna read this ourselves because this is a lot of stuff. I will say that it's never supposed to be shown that anyone of me, my lawyer and other relevant lawyers. It was a private document with my own personal information. Was used legal document. Help my lawyers was supposed to be released to anyone else other than the parties as a legal lawyer. It makes me wonder if my medical and hospital records were also released without my consent. Yeah, no shit. Like, Doki, if Doki was gonna respond, this is how you respond. You don't slag back, you don't punch down. You never punch down. She is not, like, she's not even punching. She's validate. She's more so just saying, yeah, these guys are stupid. Yeah, they kind of did stupid. These stupid people did stupid. Now, there was 3 responses here. The best response would have been this, which is kind of just defending yourself, not punching back, not accusing, not slandering, just simply defending the accusation made. It doesn't put Nijisanji any worse off. She's merely addressing the point and dealing with it. The other response would to have not responded, which is a middle ground. Nothing changes. They Nijisanji put out their accusation. She doesn't respond. She doesn't give any fuel for the fire, but it also then doesn't give her any better light to look. It just, they just put out their thing. And the worst thing to have done would have become defensive and accusatory. She's being very sensible and very responsible not to punch down.
help my lawyer and
Exactly, it's a
document my
perspective.
thoughts, and was never supposed to release anywhere else.
Like, anyone
to
at this point
any
who believes
other parties
Nijisanji are in the-
outside of legal department.
Right.
It makes me wonder if my medical and hospital records was also released without my consent, as that was also promised
that's
to me
so
to be
scummy.
kept private, where she would
Okay.
stream and in her tweets would be reflected in this.
Wait, they got blue texted again? No way. In this video, it referred to a document that's made, but the document was not made to be public, nor was we should. Oh, I said it earlier, but if you've been blue texted on Twitter, you are fucked. The voice of public opinion is the only one that matters, and when blue Twitter has to get involved, when they have to correct your bullshit, you know you're fucked up. Yeah, no, this isn't actually. This is totally is legal. Actually, we were allowed to do this. Blue Twitter, nah, you weren't. Nah, you weren't, you fuckhead.
Community note that was applied to a Lyra's tweet.
Nah, voice
share-
ninja, it's not even picking a side. It's rationalizing. It's stating the facts. They're not picking a side. Because I guarantee you, if Doki would have started posting some inane bullshit, they would have put it on Doki's as well. They're merely trying to keep things factual and honest and true. They're trying to stop the spread of misinformation. That's all it
During
is.
the Nijisanji statement, it says, in this video, Nijisanji talent referred to a document that was made by Dokibird and her lawyers that was given to Nijisanji
Oh, this is some juicy drama. And every time Nijisanji do something, they just stick their foot in it even worse. Beautiful.
As stated in Dokibird's response.
Yeah, it's
Now,
basically the way of
in
taking a side
response
without
to
taking
all
a
this,
side.
Nijisanji
But it is neutral,
EN
still.
Livers have employed a very familiar tactic that's been done many times
Slander?
when Nijisanji is facing controversy, and that is a collective sharing of this tweet in the video by other.
Yes, of course, because the only people you can rely on are the people who are eating your ass, of course. Like, duh. The only people that they can trust to spread misinformation are the people who are on their payroll, who are Like, and the thing is, it's not even that. I reckon the only reason why a lot of these people are spreading it isn't because they want to. It's because they're stuck with the corp. They're stuck with the agency. For them to keep making money, they have to do what they're told. If they weren't part of the agency, they wouldn't have even touched it. But because the agency was in trouble, their financial well-being was in trouble. So they weren't being loyal because they believed what they were saying. They were being loyal because it was going to affect their income. That's literally all it was. God damn.
EN Livers. You'll see Vox sharing the message. You'll see Ike retweeting it. You'll see...
Thank you for being patient with us. It could be... And the thing is, a lot of these are just even neutral. None of them are necessarily even saying that they are agreeing with Nijisanji. They're just saying, yeah, guys, there's a lot of stuff happening. Like, good. That's good. That's good. Because again, the talent should not be held responsible for the management's decisions.
Finana commenting on it. You'll see Anna commenting on it. You'll see Renzoto commenting on it, and so on and so forth. You get the point. All the EN Livers are sharing this document and taking a stance of solidarity, sharing its message, and essentially throwing Selene under the bus. Now, whether they're all turning on Selene on their own volition, or these are tweets that they're forced to make by management.
Okay, so the next part is basically the response of the community. More of a look at how many subscribers they lost. Kind of no kidding.
Right now. As pointed out,
Nijisanji released another statement. Regarding concerns that have arisen in relation to the current situation. Oh, they finally gave a statement. They finally gave a statement. Okay, let's. Ooh, drama. I love me some drama. Regarding concerns that have arisen in relation to the current situation. Ooh, in the stream done earlier by our livers. Why do they call them livers? There could have been any number of better phraseology they could have used to describe their streamers. Livers just sounds like they're about ready to steal your liver. No, they're livers. They're gonna harvest your organs. Like that's not the best branding choice, I would say. A message from the Nijisanji was mentioned that parts of beside the point. Anyway, it was mentioned by the of information received from Selene and her lawyer, which shared to any color. As mentioned in that stream, guys, I'm reading. Whoa. As mentioned in that stream and in the notice published by Any Color. Any Color. Selene and her lawyer claimed that the livers affiliated with Any Color Inc. were involved and that they will hold Any Color Inc. legally responsible. Selene and her lawyer mentioned the possibility that they will also hold livers affiliated with Any Color legally responsible. This is a smear campaign. This is them trying to paint Selene, Doki, as the problem. Like, this is the epitome of Ninji going, but we're just a small indie studio. Please don't be mean to us. Oh no, guys, please, we're being bullied. They're responsible in order to check the validity of Selene and her lawyer's claims. Any Color Inc. shared only necessary parts of the information sent to our lawyer with our no, bullshit. That is bullshit. At no point does somebody's personal address and living state need to be shared with the public. Anything legally pertaining to an issue in hand should always be relevant to the contrivance. There is never a situation in a legal standing that reaches public opinion where the address of the person is needed. Or that sort of more personal detail side. Like the only feasible thing you would ever need to display, to talk about, or to show to the world, or to look at in any way is the name. Maybe. Even the name might not be necessary. You know, the non-anonymity and all that jazz. It should always pertain to the issue at hand and any relevant constraints, such as the accusation, the location of the accusation, not the location of the person who made the accusation. It's called relativity and relevancy, which they clearly didn't adhere to. Anyway.
Sanji has released further statements trying to absolve themselves of guilt in this situation.
So then the CEO made a statement. To begin with, Any Color Inc. has not made any confidential violations regarding submitted documents for legal claims such as these. However, regarding... You know what the screams of? Just stop. You could have stopped ages ago. This video... Poor Rev did not have to make 3 or 4 more videos. But because Nijisanji just didn't know when to shut the fuck up and leave something be done, Rev sat there like, yes, juicy drama. And by proxy, now me as well. Regarding specific information documents which Celine's lawyer requested that we do not share with our livers, with utmost consideration of this request, Any Color Inc. has not shared any such information. In addition, our livers are not held to any confidentiality obligations regarding... Talk about shifting the blame. Like, we didn't share the information, but our livers aren't held to that. Guys, it wasn't us that told the information, but the people we told it to did.
Well, that wasn't the only statement. Only about a half an hour later, they released this statement saying in this video...
It's a Blizzard. It's the Blizzard thing of we investigated ourselves. That's exactly what it is.
The CEO of Any Color will be addressing concerns that have arisen as a result of recent events regarding the contract termination of Selene Tatsuki. Now, I'm going to point out...
Yeah, they're clamoring for any empathy they can get. Please feel sorry for us.
The claim that they're a black company is one that has gotten a ton of support. And why on earth would the CEO stand in front of a wall that's black?
Oh, anyway, I'm not gonna make a comment.
I can't even fathom the decision making, but in this video, he spends nearly the entire 6 minutes talking about shareholders and the impact.
Of course, I don't even need to make a mention of it. I don't even need to reciprocate the point. I've made my point clear that shit companies will hold to their shit. They only care about one thing. They've already shown they only care about money. So of course the only thing they're going to talk about is more money.
Hey, what's up, guys? Rep here. So today we have
Lugi, thank you for the gifted subs. Thank you. Okay.
Love that access.
Let's try and round this out. So Doki made a response. I want to see what the response is, and then we'll look at the final video in this little series. Because campaign helping, right? So it seems like the summary is Dokibird makes a retort, and I want to read what that is. And then afterwards, people tried helping Nijisanji. And then it didn't work because people can smell shit from a mile off. So let's read this, and then we'll watch the final video. And that'll be a good way of rounding this out. Because I think we all understand what's happening here. If you guys want to read and look into this more detail, I'll have a link to these playlists, to a playlist of these in the comments. It's just wild. It is wild how out of touch Nijisanji are. And if they had any sense of holding themselves to a standard, they'd stop talking about sponsors and brands and market shares and start talking about the feelings and people. So, what does it say? I was ready to move on. Yes, as you should be, as any sensible person should be. I'd made my last statement. I haven't looked at anything regarding my past for a full week. I love how she says past as well. I didn't look at anything because she's looking forward. She's moved on. She doesn't care about this anymore. The only people who are dragging this through the dirt is Nijisanji. Regarding the situation, says me about Doki. I want to be hopeful for the future that I have interacted the site again. So to see if it all come back and reopen a wound was really again on how to respond. Yes, because you are a sensible human being. You are a sensible person, Doki. You are sensible and you are doing what any rational, sane human being would do. The document mentioned was at first made to document my thoughts and history with evidence so that my lawyer can see the general picture. I would love to see what her lawyer had to say. Like, I can only imagine that her lawyer was laughing their way to the bank. Like, goddamn. And if there were issues that should be addressed, it was first made during my darkest time mentally, and I wrote everything on my mind little by little at the time.
Is that company Japanese? Cause in Japan you can be sued for slander regardless on if the statements are factual or not. Meaning it is surprising they have not gotten sued for all they have already said.
I don't know enough about Nijisanji to make a statement on comment on that. Again, I don't immerse myself in corporate VTubing bullshit or corporate streaming stuff at all. It wouldn't surprise me. I do believe that especially the VTuber agencies, a lot of them are run through Japan. Like, VTubing is massive in Japan. And a lot of these will start in Japan and then open European departments, as it were. Same with HoloLive, same with a lot of these other agencies. They'll have compartments, if you will. So who knows? But I think Doki is taking the higher road. She could sue them, and I would very likely say easily win. But she said it herself. She wants to move on. And any rational person would be the same. There would be like a breaking point where if Nijisanji just continued to try and smear, then yes, you could sue for deprecation. You can sue for besmirchment, slander. There's a smorgasbord of things that could be sued for, mostly about trying to sabotage your image, basically. There were no other addresses or specific locations mentioned regarding or recording. This was not intended to be anything other than a distribution test for planning of a collaborative event between two people, which happened to be left over from one test recording, and I never recorded any other conversations with anyone. The recording was never shown anyone else's legal setting, and that was mentioned, and I'm sorry if all parties affected. Yeah, this is like the most rational response that somebody could make from someone who keeps bringing up bullshit. Yeah, it's a deprivation of character. Deprecation of character.
Since I moved back to Doki, I want to be hopeful for the future and never interact with that site again. So to see all Pandora and number, and right now subscribers on YouTube,
I do find it interesting that Rev always brings it back to the subscribers, because I don't think that's the defamation. Thank you, that was the word I was looking for, but too stupid to remember. I don't think the amount of subscribers should be focused on. It's not what you gain from a situation like this that matters. It's how you move on. Like, you should, like, what you gain should never be the focus. I mean, it's always good to see this, the David and Goliath situation. It's always good to see the David prosper and grow. But I think focusing on how much you've gained from drama kind of devaluates the entire point of what's being talked about. But, you know, it is kind of nice to see just desserts being delivered. No surprise, Alira, the person who made the video slapping back against Doki, has ended up losing the most. It's why everyone else was probably silent on the subject.
are really angry.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. The only reason you'd ever talk about sub count is to talk about the community response. That is indicative of that, but it does maybe pertain a little bit too heavily to it. I don't think it's worth focusing as heavily on the numbers, other than for that sole purpose. So that was the response. I want to briefly look at this to see what ended up happening with Nijisanji trying again.
So today we're going to cover some more of the fallout from the Nijisanji situation, including some of the responses to Dokibird's final statement on the situation, including a harassment and smear campaign being raised by some of Nijisanji's fans who are trying to do...
Imagine still being a fan of Nijisanji after all of this. Like, you must be an indoctrinated stan of epic proportions if you are still behind Nijisanji at that point. I mean, yes, again, there's always going to be sides. There's always going to be people who aren't willing to look at anything else. There's always going to be people who go for the opposite side just to be a contrarian. That's always the way it's going to be. But it's an Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp situation. The court of public opinion will predominantly be populated by rational people who know better.
Do this in an attempt to clear the names of the heavily criticized Nijisanji Ian Livers.
It is. Delusion is a very good way of wording this.
Dokibird, and as you might imagine, that campaign is
like my delusion that I'll ever get out of this donathon.
Let's remind ourselves where we are. So a few days ago, Alira Pandora, Vox Akuma, and Ike Evelyn released a joint statement addressing the...
In this video, Nijisanji talent referred to the document that was made by Dokibird. Yes, that's what we've read already. Okay, let's read some of these comments. Literally every single one has the same idea, which leads me to believe that if they are all the same, they are not being, like, this is a proxy, right? They are being used as proxies. None of them probably even meant any of this. Maybe one or two of them actually believe it, but I don't believe it. I think the only reason these would have been said is because they were given a copy pasta to personalize and to be like, hey, you know, if you don't make this post, you're not going to get paid. I do believe that's the only reason these posts were made.
Retweeting the message.
So we know that already.
Really bad right now, and Dokibird is winning the public perception war right now very clearly. And some people are making jokes like this, using the hashtag saying, I figured I'd contribute by posting an image of all my favorite livers. Oh wait.
Yes. Yes, all of the ones that got let go. You know what? If something like this keeps perpetuating, it is the equivalent of a clown fiesta. If you are going to have something like this nonsensical perpetuate, you might as well make some fun memes out of it, if nothing else. At least that way, something constructive and funny would have been made out of some stupid situation.
The message from Nijisanji EN that has been heavily criticized. That is not a good thing for them. And
wait, did they seriously celebrate the fact that Alira had 1 million views on her latest stream? Dude, I'm sorry, but if it showed the dislike... Okay, you have 1 million views on your stream, but only 1,000 updates. Yikes. Yikes.
And of course, all of this hasn't stopped
Nijisanji Defense Force seal of approval. I need the sticker. I need the sticker.
The Nijisanji Defense Force on Twitter, who has been going after Dokibird, Selen, and anyone supporting them. No matter how grim the situation might look, no matter how much evidence is stacked up against Nijisanji,
Goodness gracious.
They don't care. They keep fighting and defending
Yeah.
to back up those claims.
Having lived... Dude, what did I say? What did I say? Having lived with an Amber Heard-esque person for 17 years, I can attest this is some Amber Heard level... Dude, this is not pre-watched. I did not pre-watch this. But what did I say? People smell shit. They know shit. People can identify when people are being I fucking knew. Yeah, okay. Okay. If that doesn't kind of epitomize the general consensus of this, I don't know what does. I gave Doki lots of benefit of the doubt, even donated to her after she was terminated, but I've seen enough pure manipulation self-confidence. Ah! Jesus.
But this idea of comparing Dokibird to Amber Heard is absolutely...
You know that your argument is completely invalid when you're saying somebody else is like Amber Heard. That reeks of desperation. Good lord. How's anyone gonna... Nah, I'm sorry.
And also pretending to know behind the scenes type
They're
stuff.
hypocritical considering the way Nijisanji's acting is basically the Amber Heard.
I don't know, parasocialism, and that's reflected in other tweets. So here's one user, quote retweeting Dokibird's final statement on the matter, saying, "Your fandom are keep attacking livers and their fans."
Your fandom are keep attacking livers and their fans, including harassing, attacking with... Okay, in X, in YouTube era, and already made many innocent PPL suffered panic attack. Damn, I didn't realize we had the most literate Nijisanji fan writing this. My god. They found a literate Nijisanji fan. Mind blown. Extremely anxiety. Even if I'm not... I think this must be a Japanese person, right? They Google translated this. There's no way this isn't just this... Okay, you know, that's beside the point. Anyway.
Wait, I have just arrived. What is going on here?
Are you being serious? What's going on? Juicy VTuber drama. And watching a terrible corpo gets what's deserved, I suppose. Are you being serious? Nijisanji, along with Alira, Vox, and Tans, created this mess. She wanted to keep the ship private, and yeah, again, rational versus irrational.
Making a public statement, I don't know what they're trying to get at. Make this a
Oh my god.
All of this is...
I feel heat everywhere, but I'm also sweating. I can't breathe unless I deep breathe.
Is very unhealthy, and I think people like this are way too invested in this situation. It just shows the levels people are going.
Yeah. And if anything, Nijisanji, like, this is something that maybe isn't even talked about. Nijisanji not only didn't think about Doki, but they didn't think about the knock-on effect it would have to the audience. Because people aren't smart enough not to embroil themselves. People will get immersed into a drama to a personal level and let their own lives be affected by something that isn't even relevant to them. Because unfortunately, people on the internet have so little self-control and self-preservation that they will get to a point like this where they're so enamored by it, so immersed by it, and so embroiled in it that they let it affect their own lives, even though it has nothing to do with them.
Going to defend Nijisanji and the
Lord
talents.
have mercy. Again, it's a sign. It's a very big sign of a lack of self-awareness and consideration for those who should not have even been part of it, because people can't control themselves.
That maybe, just maybe, some of these livers made some bad choices, and now they're asking the question, why are y'all not taking accountability for your actions? Then the livers speak.
I repeat my statement from earlier. Hold on. Just a sec. Okay. Mr. Krabs is Nijisanji.
Congratulations, Mr. Krabs.
Hello, I like money.
That's why. That's why they're not taking responsibility.
What inspired you to build a second
What inspired you to be absolute unethical bastards?
Krusty Krab right next door to the original?
Money?
Money! Yup, there you go. That answers everything.
Speak up. Then quoting, why are they using them as meat shields? Okay, fine. The CEO then
Okay, I think we get the idea. I think we get the idea.
Why no one else is sitting here?
Let's watch the final video and we'll wrap this up, I think.
Guys, we're up here.
Because a lot of this is just kind of perpetuating the stuff we already know.
People are tracking, and it's essentially a race to 550,000 subscribers
But
on
why?
YouTube, where Dokibird is gaining subs towards that number, and Nijisanji and Alira Pandora has been losing subs.
Oh, that's why. Again, it's the depiction of
towards that
the
number.
court of public
Now,
opinion.
Not only have we seen
People
Dokibird
do
officially
not want
pass
to be part
550,000
or associated with
subscribers,
people
we've
that
also
are
seen her officially
negative Nancy's.
overtake Alira Pandora in total subscribers. Now, that is something that is making a lot of the people in the Nijisanji Defense Force very upset, because they have been doing their best over the past week or two to
Magnus, that's not even VTubing. I mentioned this at the very beginning. This isn't hyperbolic to VTubers. This is the kind of nonsense that happens in any business, any industry. It's just because it's the VTube space, people are weirded out by it. Because unfortunately, the people in the VTube space are a very parasocial bunch. They're very neurodiverse. And this is no different than the kind of stuff that happens in regular office work. It's the same kind of thing that happens with gaming houses. It's just outlandish because people always perceive VTubers to be cute and kawaii, not realizing that they are just human and pervy to the same things.
defend the honor of Nijisanji
Fun
and their
fact,
livers.
Alira
And
Pandora's true lore is that she betrayed her half-sister Selen Tatsuki. No cap.
Dog, that is called a self-fulfilling prophecy.
as I pointed out in yesterday's video, a lot of these efforts have only made the image of Nijisanji and its livers worse, and another person has decided to enter that fray, a popular streamer by the name of 39daff. As you can see, nearly 500,000 followers on Twitter. She is someone who has collaborated with Nijisanji in the past, including Nijisanji Ien's Kyo, who by the time you're watching this video is either in the process of his graduation stream or has officially graduated from Nijisanji.
I remember this. I don't even keep up with this kind of stuff, and I remember seeing this on my timeline. I was like, who the hell is this?
Ien. Once
I remember
again,
seeing all these like
another
graduations
person
and wondered what the
having
heck was
their
going on.
graduation moments overshadowed because people are defending Nijisanji and making the situation.
I was ready to
He
move
read the
on. I made the last
latest
statement.
as well as
That
other things
anything
going
regarding
on
my
over the past
time. We
week.
knew that already. Okay, I thought this video was gonna have a bit more like transformative content. It just looks like somebody else jumping on the bandwagon. Guys, I think we've seen enough. Is there anything else in this video that kind of adds to what's already being said? Or is this just like other people being stupid, more people being stupid, Nijisanji doing more Nijisanji things? Well, anyway, that was some juicy gossip. I think that's gonna be it for the now. Maybe we'll be able to talk about a subject that's positive in the future and spin a bit of light on it. If you like this, guys, please let me know down below. If you like my input on things, if you like me addressing relevant subjects and conversations being had, I'd love to hear your opinions, and I will see all of you in the next video. Goodbye.